Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Child, it is so clear that Tisha watches Real Housewives of Potomac, or she's friends with Candace, honey. Because did you see she pulled out the Candace cry angle, the infamous Candace cry angle? We thought we was gonna be sad that we was never gonna see the cry angle ever again on TV, but yes, baby, Tisha is keeping it alive. And what Martell talking about? Everybody get is it be in a phase, and I believe he's talking about the HOE phase, because they were talking about side chicks and side dudes, and it's like Martell, you are still in your phase. Your phase blew up in your face. Your phase is now your reality. It's your lifestyle now, honey. Your phase caused you to get divorced. You had another baby. You have cold slaw. Oh, honey, is this a phase or is this it blew up? It just blew up. Hey, besties, this is Behind the Shade, coming to you once again with another recap for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 8, Episode 7, titled Love and Lockup. Besties, please like the video, make sure you're subscribed, and let me know down in the comments what you will rate this episode. I think I'm going to give it a good B. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Better than last week. It was pretty good. We got a lot to unpack, a lot. So get you something to drink. I got my coffee, and let's do it. But first, let's talk about Mel's confessional look. If I brought it up before, we just gonna talk about it again because it just was triggering me yesterday. It got on my nerves again. So, and millimeters don't come for me. I'm on the fence. I am team God. Okay. I am team besties. Remember, we don't know these people. These people are displaying their lives on our television, and we can talk about it. You can like who you like, but that team stuff don't work over here. We are team God. Okay. God. So millimeters don't come for me. Because let's talk about this purple thing we got going on, honey. It's giving prom dress 1970 something, maybe even 1960s. It's giving, I bought this purple love seat from my first apartment. Those love seats that's low to the ground. And when you sit down, you like, whoa, and you kind of fall over a little bit. And then when you want to get up, you got to roll your knees onto the floor to get up because it's so low. I don't know. Purple Rain, the color purple. It's just real old school. What are those shoulders doing? Oh, I can't stand it with the long gloved, the attached glove with the big old ring and the slick back hair. And she almost looks like a backup singer for some 70s or 60s group. I don't know. She giving me Dream Girls, uh, Diana Ross and the Supremes. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. But the wet hair, slick back look, what is that? It's just all together wrong. The hair and the dress don't even go together. Maybe if her hair was different. And besties, what do you think her hair should be looking like? I think an updo would have been cute with that dress. I think maybe some two little dangly kissy curls in the front, like on the sides by her ears. Maybe that with some kind of updo with no swoosh bang, nothing on her face. That would have been nice. But the slick back, I just got out the pool look. What if she did that hairstyle calls for a swimsuit. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay, enough about Mel. Cause y'all be tripping. And I ain't the one. Okay, so let's begin, shall we? So the episode continues with Tisha and Stormy going back and forth. Stormy like, you wanna be me. And so tell me about this popping pills. Tell me what you mean. Well, tell me what you mean about popping pills. And so Tisha's like, you heard what I said. Why would you send me an invitation in? And it's just like, is Tisha jealous of everybody on this cast? We know she was jealous of Melody, because Melody had got her get back, left Martell, and went on about her business and got herself established, honey. Did she not cut Martell out of the business wholeheartedly, changed her all her little decals on her office door, honey, got them t-shirts going, moved, got a new car, woo wop, got the t-shirts, got the speaking engagements, got the skincare girl. Melody is here, honey. She did a glow up after Martell. Tisha, did you see that? Now you mad about that story. Well, why are you mad at Stormy? You the one that stole her information off her website to put it on yours. You over there copy and pasting and got caught up. And Stormy over there clocking in $1 million on TikTok last week off her hair care. Go good for Stormy. Good for Stormy. She got the solid marriage with Courtney. She got that big old ranch, big old mini mansion on top of all that area. She got acres for acres. The girl got horses, cows, donkeys. I mean, her Benz truck is dipped in gold, honey. And didn't Courtney just buy a $40,000 old school car? Like, yeah, it's giving. You're very jealous. It's giving. You're jealous of Nell. Nell solid in her relationship with her man. They selling property. She got her own daycare. She been holding it down for 30 years. It's just Tisha, you need to stop. So we never get why she said Stormy was popping pills, because the mentor, Nell, interrupts and says, you either like each other or you don't. And so Tisha gonna say, I don't. And it's like, so Nell tells her, well, you don't show up to Stormy's gala. And then she tells Stormy, and you don't invite her. And so Tisha says, I RSVP'd. And it's like, Nell tells Tisha, you're just so aggressive. And she is. Even Kimmy tells her, Tisha, you're going left. Like, you're going left. Kimmy gonna say it, drop a gem and be quiet. She gonna go back to being quiet. So she dropped her little gem on her sister-in-law. And so Nell's like, you're just so aggressive. And so she said, y'all need to go iron it out. Just iron it out. If you go in and go iron it out. So Tisha's like, well, I rather, I want to have a talk with you, actually. And so Nell is like, oh, Tisha standing on business. Okay. They talk. So Nell says, like, that Tisha was aggressive and crazy. And so then she says, maybe I should just have said aggressive. So Tisha's like, yeah, because I'm not crazy. And, she says, I'm just not with the fake and the phony anymore. I'm just not doing it. I want to talk directly about the issue. So Nell said, yeah, me too, but I'm calm about it. See, Tisha, you might be a mentee and don't know it because your mentor just told you how to clap back. You can do it, but you need to be calmer. You're too aggressive with your stuff. You look crazy. That's what your mentor is telling you. Okay, I'm sorry. She's not your mentor. She's your friend. But yeah, this is why she feels like a mentor, but you're not listening. So Nell, this is the new Tisha. She is juiced about her newfound voice. Nell, you got to be careful. She got a backbone now, honey. Your mentee has a backbone. She got a battery pack in her back, and she is coming for everybody. She's coming. And so then we get Stormy and Courtney over there talking to Marcel, child. So Marcel, because the what are they? Oh, they got two different last names. Okay, Steele and Beasley or something. Okay, so Stormy and Courtney is like, they like, so what's up? Because we was all cool before the reunion, and then Tisha brought that energy to the reunion, and Marcel's like, I don't know, but Y'all both brought that energy. And so, Courtney is there supporting his wife, honey. He is standing 10 toes down behind Stormy, and he is what he wish Marceau would. He wishes. And he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, honey. And if y'all notice, them Scots boys, they look on. When they wives are getting into it, they be over on the other side of the room looking. They don't do what Courtney doing. Courtney is doing exactly what a husband's supposed to be doing. He is standing behind his woman, and he wished Marceau would. Exactly. You can argue with my wife, but best believe I'm gonna be here to coach, to referee it. Okay. So Marceau is just like, they're confused on why they got an invitation from someone that his wife just cussed out. And it's like, you didn't have to say it like that. Like, Marceau, you be wanting smoke. You could have said that better than that. So, anyway, he's just like, we got an invitation from someone my wife just cussed out. It's just weird. And so, Courtney says it's only weird if you have a problem with it. If you have a problem, period. If you have a problem. So, Stormy is telling Marceau, we don't hold grudges. And Marceau says, well, we do. So Courtney's like, well, if we didn't want you there, then we wouldn't have invited y'all. And so, I love how Courtney is taking up for his wife. And he like, I'm taking up for my wife. And he was just saying all the right stuff. So Storm is like, well, Tisha has the problem. Because you remember, Courtney said it's only weird if you have a problem. So Storm was like, yeah, Tisha has the problem. So Marceau was like, no, I just think we need to understand you guys a little bit better. And so, so Storm is like, we extended an olive branch to y'all and invited you to come. Like, that's it, period, point blank. Why are you making a big deal out of it? And so Stormy was like, y'all mad about the olive branch? And I was like, please don't call Marceau a BITC. Beep. Please don't. And so Marceau was like, no, we're just confused. And so here come Big Brother Maurice. So Maurice comes over to break it up. And so he's like, I thought we discussed that we're not going to discuss this at Nell's party. And so so Maurice kind of tells in his confessions how these women, he said sometimes you think you get over stuff and you move on. He said, but in this group of friends, these women know how to pull you into these arguments. So production shows all these clips. There's about 3 different clips from past seasons of how the girls get into their back and forths. And there's Maurice standing right in the middle of it. He don't miss a chance to be in the middle. Okay. And so Marceau gonna say, okay, we'll discuss this at y'all's party. And so this is when Courtney and Stormy are walking off from him because they said what they said. We invited you, we extended an olive branch. Your wife was being weird and bringing bad energy. What's the problem? So they walk off, and so he was like, we're going to discuss it at y'all party. So Courtney said, well, we're going to have security at our party, boo. Don't come with that mess because you will get escorted out. And so, you know how he kind of changed his son and trying to whatever. So he's all, he looks at Stormy and he's like, well, I like that blonde. And so here go supportive Courtney doing a husband's job. He told Marceau, keep your eyes on your own woman, old buddy. And I was like, I like that Courtney. He is supportive. They are solid. I'm on the fence with Stormy because I just stay on the fence with everybody pretty much, so I can give a good, a view, my view, and that's how I like to do it. I like to stay on the fence so I can see things from both sides. But I like Courtney and Stormy's marriage. They are solid. And Courtney is real. He is a real man. Like he ain't gotta holler, scream, woo woo, go back. He ain't backbiting. He ain't gossiping. He is just giving it to you real, like a real man supposed to. Ladies and gentlemen, Courtney is the example of what a partner is how he's supposed to treat you. I love it. I love it. I love it. He said he called Marceau old buddy. Left Marceau in the dust, sitting there just with the dust. So Tisha says she mad at Nell because Nell called her. Nell said that she was their mentor. She was Tisha's mentor. And so Tisha's like, I thought we were building a friendship and you making it seem like I'm one of your fans. And so Tisha said she was hurt by the comment. And so Nell is questioning her timeline because this was said, I guess maybe it was this something that was said at the reunion. Did Nell say that at the reunion or did Nell say that? I don't know. So Nell is questioning her timeline, like, why did you wait so long to say something? And tells her, like if you was like Melody would have been knocking on my door. And so Tisha said, well, I'm not Mel. I was going to say something next time I see you, and that's now. And I'm like, Tisha, at the lady's birthday party, you think this is the perfect timing to discuss this mess at her birthday party? You know how this reality TV thing works. You've been on this show for 8 seasons. You know that you were supposed to take Nell out for lunch, and y'all were supposed to discuss this before her party. Matter of fact, the night that Nell and Chris was sitting on their couch talking about Martell and Melody, that would have been a perfect time for you to be coming over. Like she said, Melody would have been knocking on my door. And we know you're not Melody. You don't have the guts. But anyway, you should have came to Nell way before her birthday party. Just tacky. Just tacky. So now they're good. They both got to talk. Nell said, whew, I need some shots because Tisha running up my blood pressure. And that's what Tisha is here to do, honey. Run up your blood pressure. So in Nell's confession, she said the party was cool. Chris did a bomb job for her. Her kids were there, family was there, her friends were there. She enjoyed herself. She said, but Tisha showed her ASS out. And I'm just sidebarring the party real quick. Baby, those 15, 30, 20 people that you had at that club, you could have had that party at your house, honey. Nell and Chris's kitchen is humongous. They could have easily had that party at their house because I don't know what time of year it was, but I know they probably have a huge backyard because she got a nice front yard. They could have had that party at their house. And all you had to do was just, have the DJ, cater the food, have the cake, and bring some bottle girls to the house. But I digress. Moving on. So, next scene. So Chris meets up with Courtney and Martell at a playground. They meet and throw the football. And Martell shows up in jeans because he has a dad bod now. So we have not seen Martell in tight joggers. We haven't seen him in tight suits. He has been wearing his size. I'm sure he's had to go shopping to get a bigger size. So Chris invited them because he wants to check in with Martell because, Martell didn't get invited to Nell's birthday party. And he wants to know, is Chris, did they invite Martell to the gala? So Courtney said, I missed your man at the party. So Martell is like, yeah, I was knocked out. I was feeling good. And so I said, sidebar. So I said, you was feeling good with who? Who made you feel good while you were knocked out? That sound like I was with my side piece, Coleslaw, and or probably somebody else. But he pretty much let us know it was giving. Oh, I was busy. Oh, I had plans and I was good. So he was like, how was it? And they're all like, it was good, And so Martell was like, I wasn't invited. And so he said he's still tripping on Nell picking sides between him and Melody about this party, about not inviting him to the party. And so Chris is like, she not picking sides and all that. And so Courtney was like, but did she invite you? And so Martell was like, nah. So Courtney says, yeah, 2 adults should be able to be in a room together. And you're absolutely right, Courtney. Two adults should be able to be in a room together, but Martell and Melody are toxic at this time, and nobody wants that around, especially at a birthday party. We're supposed to have fun, and you want to make it comfortable for the people there. You don't want it to be uncomfortable because Melody, at this moment, she ain't showing up to wherever he's gonna be. That's how bad they're getting, and they went down to hell together. If you ask me, they're kind of the same. They're different, but they kind of both show a little immaturity in certain ways, especially dealing with each other. But Martell does make it hard for her. I do see that, but they both go to hell, so they can't. They shouldn't. You shouldn't even want that at your party. You shouldn't even want that. Okay, so Chris said Martell and now, they got this sister brotherly love, so don't trip. She love you, boy. Stop tripping. But she had to do what she had to do. And she picked Melody over you this time. Deal with it. Because this is how this is probably how all your friend groups are gonna have to be. They have to decide who should come to what because they all are respecting your boundaries. Melody does not want to be around you. Deal with it. You caused this. You should have less to say. So Martell was asking Chris, like, okay, so how was your conversation about not inviting me? What did you say? What did she say? And this was like, excuse you. Chris was like, he didn't say it, but Chris was like, look, listen here, buddy. You don't get to know what me and my wife discuss intimately at our home. We pillow talk together. I'm not telling you what was said, but he did say, I gave my opinion and she gave me hers, and the decision was to invite Melody. And he said, listen, I'm taking my wife's side. That's pretty much that was the nutshell for Chris. Just know I'm taking my wife's side. So Martell says Chris acts like the Scots. He don't keep it real. um, he don't owe that to you. Y'all friends, but Nell is his wife, and you do understand that. I think he even said it. Like, you gotta support your wife. You gonna say that because that's what you're supposed to say. Well, you know that, so why would you even ask? Like Martell could be so messy. This is like one of those things where you bring stuff on yourself. You gonna ask a question you shouldn't have asked, and he gave the very good answer. None of your business. So Martell, like, they don't keep it real. So then he gonna say they take Mel's side, and he was like, and he don't want to hear it when things go left with Mel, like with everybody else. He don't want to hear it. He is confirmed. He is firm in his belief that it's gonna explode. So then they bring up the gala, and so Courtney asked Martell, is he still going to participate? And Martell didn't even say nothing. Did you notice that Courtney had to ask him again? And Martell was very slow in his response. And so we learned that he's on the fence about it because he says his body is about a 5, like out of 10. Like he was a 10 after Melody, but now he about a 5. So he was like, I don't know, I'm trying to work on this dad bod, trying to do my cardio. And so he think that he probably should work out with Trish. And so he's like, Trish is coming, right? And so, her dude so Martell's like, her dude participating, right? He's a big guy, right? And so Courtney's like, yeah, he's participating. He gonna rub her down. Cause Trisha said ain't nobody touching her because she barely gonna be whatever Courtney, what did Stormy want her in? Some G-string. She wanted pretty much almost naked. And she asked for boy shorts. So we know she only gonna let Ken rub on her. And so Martella's like, oh yeah, he's a bodybuilder, right? And so Courtney's like, yeah, and so, but he drive trucks. And so Martell was like, he drive for y'all. And he's like, oh no. He own his own business. He was in the army. He own his own business now, so and we've been friends since he was like 10 years old. And so, Martell's like, oh, okay, cool. And so Chris was like, is Mel invited? So shady, Chris. So shady. So Courtney said yes, because he said we invited everybody. We're not playing these games with y'all. So So the next scene, we're at the Scott's house. So Tisha and Marcel, they're at home in the kitchen. You know, the black kitchen with the gold hardware that's giving Tisha California and Florida vibes. And baby, I live in California. I'm from California, the Bay Area to be specific. And we don't have black kitchens here. I've not seen black kitchens. No one paints their walls black here in California. Never seen it. Have yet to see that, Tisha. Okay, so just call it a Florida kitchen, okay? So Tisha asked Marcel, like, did he get the bid from Kimmy and them on the project? And he acted like he don't know what she's talking about. Like he's so busy, like he's so far beyond that. He's like, oh, what? Oh, yeah, okay, no, I didn't get the bid. You're not gonna get the bid, honey, because Kimmy is not sending you one. She is very clear. She told us. She didn't even tell Maurice, but she let us know she ain't fooling with Marcel. So, uh, okay, so Tisha's thing is, she kind of don't want him to take the bid or do the project because she just like her and Kimmy have been through a lot and they're good now and she wants to keep it that way. And I agree. I understand. Like she don't want all the drama. She don't want nothing else to make them weird. So, and she tells Marcel that Melody wants to talk to him about the comment he made when Martell was arrested. And she wants to know, like, why did he say what he said? And did he do it for some attention? So the news reached out to Marcel. And Marcel says, because every time that something happens to Mel and Martell, it impacts them. He said everyone always asking him questions, so he gave a middle of the road answer. So what we found out is he said he was praying for everyone involved. And so Marceau is just like, he hates that happened to them. He says, but the people that always talk about them, something always they always end up in a bad situation. And so he gave the examples of Mel and Martell having gone, divorced. He brought up Tiffany and Lewis, kicked off the show. Postpartum almost broke them up. Blah, blah, blah. He brought up Kiki. He brought up Kiki. I'm like, these had to do because all this happened to them because they mentioned you more so. These are your castmates. Melody and Martell got divorced because they brought your name up. Tiffany and Lewis decided to leave the show and went through their stuff because they brought your name up. Kiki going through her stuff because they brought your name up. Oh, please. And so Tisha on that same kick too, child. So, she gonna support her man, right? So she was like, you can add Stormy to that too. Because she said something about me having liquid courage. And she was like, no, this is Tisha. And it's like, but you're crying now. Like, who's T? Like, who are you, Tisha? We don't know who you are yet. We trying to figure it out because we think you trying to figure it out. So Marcel, he even said, no, you need to, let's talk about some accountability here, Tisha. And so, he was like, you need to stop getting in the gutter with them. You won't be able to achieve your goals because you keep playing with them. And so she was like, they keep playing with me. And I used to be the nice Tisha. And I'm not the nice Tisha no more. But Tisha, you are sitting here in your kitchen crying with a cry angle. You don't know. I don't think you know who you are at this moment. And so Marcel kind of backed down off of her. She told him that, he always coming for her and putting her down. And she don't want to hear his feedback right now. So he said, okay, no feedback. That's how he heard. That's what he heard. And you can tell in this moment, you can tell that they've had some therapy. They do need to go back because their communication is not where it should be. Being if they've been married for so long, but something is working. But of course, we know it's Tisha putting the blinders on. But they need to get back in therapy. Their communication is off, and it was really weird. It was tough to watch. And then after he says, okay, I'm gonna be quiet. Then 2 minutes, he couldn't even walk past the counter. Then she's like asking him about the accountability part. It's like, Tisha, see what I'm saying? That's why you in the kitchen crying with a Candace triangle. You don't know if you want to be hard, tough. You don't want to talk. You want accountability. You don't. In this moment, here's an example. You do not take accountability, Tisha. You came from Mel back in the day for her marriage, talking about this and that, bringing up the coleslaw and what they was doing together. You were trying to tear them down. You didn't take accountability for the stuff that you started with Mel and Martell. You don't take any accountability. You stole off of Stormy's website, copied and pasted her website rules onto yours. You took no accountability. You don't take accountability. You don't do it. You just don't do it. Stormy's asking you about these darn pills. You still haven't given her an answer. I said what I said. And it's giving jealous. It really is. It's giving jealous. We saw Melody morph into a wonderful businesswoman after Martell. Okay, you threw salt on her marriage. She ended up getting a divorce, but she had a good old come up. I remember that season where she was moving his name off their office building. Honey, she was putting her name on that, honey. Honey, that girl went and got a skincare line. She got T-shirts. She doing speaking engagements. She got the girl. She is doing it. Even your husband admires her. You jealous of her, and your husband admires her. And he got a crush on her because every time he around, he be looking. But you see, they taking notes from Melody, even when we'll get to the expo, the espo. We'll get to the espo. But he has a crush on her, and he's taking good notes from Melody, even though they tried to give her a hard time about the very thing that he's doing now. And let's talk about it. The T-shirts, for instance. He talked so much smack about Melody and her T-shirts when she didn't want to, when she wanted to get paid to be a speaker at the Black Expo. And Marceau was like, you just sell T-shirts. Yes, you need to build your community and do it for free and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, yeah. And then you turn around the next year for your second Black Expo, and you feel now that everything is dollars and cents, and now you wanted her to come speak, and she was booked and busy because Marceau was at that table with, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but Marceau was at that table with the T-shirt that said, what, y'all? What did the T-shirt say? Black. Okay. Did y'all notice the T-shirt when they were talking to Moses? When it was him and Maurice and Moses came and they was trying to talk to him. Did y'all notice the T-shirt he had on that night? It said T-Squad. That's Tisha's fan club. That's her fan base. T-Squad. So you talk about the very thing that you're taking notes from. But you see how Melody was like, yeah, you doing this. Okay, she was checking boxes with him. So yeah, Tisha. Yeah, you don't take accountability. That's where I was at. That's where I was going, right? Okay, so he says, she says she do take accountability. He says that he don't think so. She was like, I do. And he explains, no, you're defensive. You don't take accountability. You're defensive. And so then she tells him that it's embarrassing when he calls her out every single time in front of people. And Marceau says, he said, these aren't the only mistakes that you make, Tisha. No. And I was like, what? Oh, Marceau. Tisha should have went off. But he was like, he's calling you out now at home. He said, you make plenty of mistakes, little girl. You make plenty of them. And if you don't tighten up, well, you know what happens. Well, we already know what he's allegedly already has done, going to Africa by himself. He's kind of telling you what you need to tighten up on. And men, they'll tell you for so long before they start doing what Martell did. But we know Marceau has a vasectomy, so he won't have any outside kids. Yeah, but yeah, we allegedly he cheats, right? Okay. So Marceau is trying to fix it up. He's trying to clean it up because he know he didn't put his foot in his mouth. So he was like, we both make mistakes, and every now and then, Tisha, that you get called out for them. And that's when you could tell that they've been to therapy because Marceau didn't used to be this compassionate. So he's working on it, but they need to go back to therapy. Maybe she needs to go by herself, but they have communication problems. And it's coming from Tisha because Marceau is a good communicator. Um, and so he was like, this is a chance for us. And he really means her to learn. Like, this is a chance for you to learn, Tisha. But I like the therapy made him change the way he speaks. He said us, but he really meant you, Tisha. So Tisha gets out. So Tisha says when she gets out of the conversation is that he's not gonna listen to her and he gonna do what he wants, or he's just not gonna communicate his feelings. And then he was like, "Yeah, I'm just not gonna talk to you about it anymore." And so that darn triangle is still there, dabbing, dabbing, dabbing. And it's like they need to go to they need to go to therapy. They do have serious, severe communication problems. So the next scene, Stormy and Mel meet for sushi. They go to a Japanese restaurant, but they don't order sushi, but it's a sushi restaurant. And so it was good to really see Melody and Stormy reviving their friendship. I really like them being friends. That's really cute. So they talk about the podcast, Carlos King's podcast. And so Stormy was like, yeah, it was fun. It was great. It was entertaining. I was tipsy. So they bring up Sonny and Moses. And so Melody was like, do you think she's wrong? And so she was like, I don't know her like that, but you love who you love. But her energy was, I got him now. And it was. And she said, she said, I couldn't be that abrasive. But they could have been more loving towards Destiny. And so, it's just ain't no need to be nasty. And I was like, I like that. For Stormy, I'm on a fence. I really don't care for her. But in this episode, I'm starting to like Stormy. We're getting a different version of her instead of that. Maybe she's more comfortable being on TV and she's kind of finding her place on this on television. But I really liked her this episode. Like, she's saying some good stuff. She was like, there was no need to be nasty because Sonny is very nasty. She's defensive. So Melody was like, so what's up with you and Tisha? What was up with y'all at Nell's birthday party? And so Stormy was like, Tisha was into it with herself, honey. I was calm. And so, yeah, I was calm. And so Melody was like, yeah, you were apologetic and everything. And so they were like, yeah, she was very, and so Stormy said hyper and throwing jabs. And Melody was like, yeah, she was real hyper, wasn't she? And so Stormy gonna say Tisha was giving very chihuahua. She said Tisha was giving chihuahua. And those dogs are very barky. They bark at everybody and everything. And so she said, I was thinking that I would, invite her to my lovers and friends gala. And Tisha was like, we ain't lovers and we ain't friends. And so Stormy just was like, look, I just felt like we're in Huntsville. We all live in Huntsville, this small town. And you probably just want to invite everybody because it'll get around that I had something and you weren't invited. That's what I was thinking. Huntsville is very small. And so she was like, they in love. And I just thought to invite him. And, she was getting into it with Nell, and Nell didn't know where this was coming from. And she throwing jabs at her, too. And, Melly was like, yeah, I've been talking to Mel. And Mel, we was off trying to figure out what tip is, what Tisha's on. So Stormy said, and then she told Trisha that Nell would get all up in your face and this and that and that. And so Stormy was like, we just too old for this. And I'm like, I like Stormy this episode. Stormy, we might be friends, TV friends now. You keep up the good work, girl. Keep up the good work. So the food comes, girl. The food. We gonna need to teach Stormy how to use chopsticks, honey, because she could not figure it out. She's like, they say it's like writing with a pencil. And so they didn't order sushi, and we learned that Melody, she don't eat Japanese food too much. So, like, why is her meal light skin and Stormy's meal is dark skin? Well, they said dark, not skin, but dark. And so Mel laughing at her, and Mel over there laughing at Stormy trying to figure out the chopsticks. But what are you laughing at? Because you're using a fork too. Well, you're using a fork. We know that Stormy is going to get a fork, but Mel over there with a fork, cracking up. And so she was like, why is your food darker? So she's like, I'm going to ask the waiter. So the waiter comes and she's like, why is her food darker than mine? And he was like, oh, because her food has a little teriyaki sauce in it. And so she said, well, I want a little bit of teriyaki sauce too. So now Stormy laughing at Melody. Wonder why her food is light. And so Melody was like, shut up, Stormy. And I was like, oh, they're friends again. I like that. I like that. So, okay. So then Mel asked Stormy about the attire for the gala. And I'm like, oh, brother. I'm like, excuse me, time out. Anytime you hear the word cotillion, an evening wedding, a gala, a ball, that means formal wear, ladies and gentlemen, besties, gala, cotillion, evening weddings, and balls. That means formal wear. It means black tie formal, okay? And I didn't realize that Melody didn't know that, or maybe she's just asking because maybe Stormy didn't know that. So she's just asking, no big deal. So, but gala means formal. Okay, so Stormy was like, yeah, I'm gonna be all glammed up. I'm doing formal. That's what we doing. Bring your best. I'm gonna be my dress gonna be on the floor. Formal. So she said, okay. So Stormy said she noticed that Martell wasn't at Nell's party. And, she tells her, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into all of that. I'm not trying to change the energy here at this table because, Stormy is about the energy. But she lets her know that he's going to be a model at the gala. And Melody was like, oh. Melody said, oh. So Melody is like, nope, no show. I'm not coming. Wherever Martell is, I won't be there. It's a no for me. And so Stormy was like, well, I'm just letting you know, because I didn't want you to be blindsided. And I thought that was real cool of Stormy. She's, being a friend. You don't want that drama, but you do. I think it's just rough being in the country and you live in a small town and the word gets around and, you want to be. And I like how her Stormy and Courtney, like, we inviting everybody. It's up to y'all what y'all gonna do. But Stormy is kind of like coming like in the background, like, let me tell you something. Your old boo is gonna be there. And this divorce, it just really, it's affecting all the friend group. Like, everybody gotta pick who could come, who can't come. They're gonna invite everybody, then they gotta pull you to the side to say, this is stressful. It's just like, that's why I was so not with Melody. Was that last week when her friends was telling her these friends gonna have to pick? Is it they gonna be her friend or Martell's friend? And I was like, no, that's not how you do it. Because if I met y'all and y'all been married, what, 12, 13 years, we friends. I'm gonna be both of y'all friends. You just give me your new healthy boundaries, and I just have to deal with it. And then even at that too, maybe I, as the friend of both, maybe I'll pull back from the both of y'all until the smoke settles. Until the dust settles, the smoke clears, whatever. Because this is a lot for everybody that gotta, Nell had to pick one of them to come to her party. Stormy got to pull you over for dinner to tell you that he gonna be at her gala. It's too much. This is a lot. And besties, give your experience on if you had friends that ended up in divorce and how did you handle dealing with them. I don't think you should have to pick one or the other. You just need to know the new boundaries, learn the new person, because after divorce you change. We need to learn the new person, and then maybe eventually you'll decide to pick, or maybe the divorced people will pick for you, because sometimes maybe they'll stop fooling with you because they see you kicking it with their ex. Maybe they'll stop, like nothing wrong, but we just gonna stop. So it's just kind of weird, and it just affects divorce affects everybody. So I like Melody. I liked how she just said, move how you want to move, girl. And so Stormy was like, say less. Moving on. Oh boy. Here we go, child. I know the comments gonna blow up about this scene. Trisha meets Martell at the gym, child. And she wants to know if she gonna get the weird Martell or the one that really knows her. So he shows up and she reintroduces herself. And Martellus tells us he ain't never worked out with a woman before. This is weird, but he gonna do it because he want to get his body right. And Stormy advised him to work out with her, but he ain't never worked out with no chick before. So Martell asked her, how long has she been knowing the Scotts? And so she says, oh, a long time. Marceau worked with her ex-husband. That is really her husband. So, okay. Martell used to work with her husband and her sister at the Monaco movie theater. And that's where Martell worked at before he joined the show. And so Martell asked her, did you used to go up to the parties that was up there? And she was like, she did. She said she didn't know nothing about no parties. And so Martell said, Marceau used to let the women have free parties up there. And I'm like, what parties? What parties, Martell? What kind of parties? Letting the women have free parties at a movie theater? What kind of parties we talking about? Not no movie theater parties. What we talking about? Because I bet you Tisha don't know. I bet you Tisha don't know about these parties. Are they pineapple parties? You guys know about the pineapples, right? The upside down pineapple. Are they Diddy parties? What parties are we talking here? And so he said, Martell gonna say, glad you didn't know, because he would have gotten you too. So that's why I'm like, Diddy party, pineapple party for sure. And so she said the HELL he would have. And so Martell said, oh, he would have gotten you. Gotten her for what? So we know what that means. Martell again is insinuating that allegedly Marceau cheats on Tisha. We know that already. Tisha knows that. We know it. Tisha don't care. She not leaving, hunty. She ain't going back to Wanda's house with them 3 kids, okay? And so Trisha's like, is he playing with me? Because, that ain't cool. So she getting irritated. We all know she used to be a bully. She hot-headed. She is blowing up. She getting ready to beat Martell up. He better be careful because she has a ticky bomb, as our beloved Wendy Williams used to say. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. I might need some water, and I don't have any. I might need to drink some coffee. But yeah, she don't have no cool. She not cool. She not cool. And what Wendy Williams used to say is, she's a little ticky boom. So Martell tells her to do a good job at Stormy's event because he coming with the guns, And so Trisha says that it's gonna be hard because she's gonna need some guidance. It's like, oh God, here we go with this low self-esteem. And he's like, the guy's gonna be rubbing you down too. And she said, absolutely freaking not. And I'm like, okay, you don't cuss, but you cuss. Do you cuss or don't you cuss? Absolutely beep not. So he was like, so Martell said, you ain't gonna be giving no sex appeal. Like, what are you doing? And so she was like, not in front of the strangers, not in front of the strangers and the people. And it's like, Trisha, people are strangers and strangers are people. You're saying the same thing, hon. And so Martell says, well, I ain't gonna touch you. He ain't fooling with her. And so she gonna say, yeah, because somebody will walk up out of there with a black eye. And so, what? And so Martell said, oh, so you was a little girl back in school that if a boy looked at you wrong, you'll sock him. And so I'm just like, wow. And so Martell brings up Chris. And so, but wait a minute, am I missing a part? Because I wanted to tell y'all where, oh God, where something that Martell said, maybe it was the touching and this and that and that. And you saw how she she was pulling the weights down from up to down, what for her, for her ab, what do these her arms. And did you see how she looked at Martell and she let them weights go and she looked at him like she was getting ready, like her head was about to spin in a 360 degree. I was like, oh, she is full of rage. She is a mess. Oh gosh. So maybe I wrote it down later, but I just wanted to bring that up because it was like, did y'all see that? She is, I don't get this woman. I get her, but I don't like how she coming. Like she's full of fire, but she acts so timid at the same time. So then Martell brings up Chris, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's my mom's cousin." Why do you keep saying that? Chris is your cousin. Why do you keep trying to put an age difference on it? That is your cousin too. Your mom is your mom. If he's your mom's first cousin, he's your second cousin. He's your cousin too, Trisha, Trish, whatever you try to go by. Just because he's older, he's still your cousin. So Chris brought her up to Martell a long time ago, right? And so in Martell's confessional, he is cracking up. And he is just like, yeah, we almost met through Chris. And it was hella given like Chris was trying to hook them up. And so now I'm looking at Chris like, is Chris a cheater too? Gotta be. But and it's kind of weird. Why would you cheat in such a small town as Huntsville? Wouldn't the word get around town? But men will be men and women will be women. Okay, so I'm sure we always thinking, okay, Chris was gonna hook them up back in the day, and he didn't. Thank God. And it's now like, is this before Melody or after Melody? Like, what? Give us a time, because she's been married. So, and I want to say, I think that her marriage was about as long as Martell and Melody. So maybe this was before they were married. I'm gonna go with that because this seems like these people are really like from high school. This weird friendship is just not friendship, but this weird, I know you kind of sort of. It's given long time ago before we were married. Okay. So, so she's like, well, so Martell, he said, oh yeah, I was supposed to meet you a long time ago, whatever. Oh no, he says Chris brought you up to me brought your name up to me a long time ago. but Martell won't tell her what the conversation between him and Chris was. So Trisha asked him, why you wasn't at the party? And so he was like, she didn't invite me. And so Trish was like, so y'all can be in the same room, kind of like, right? That's how she was asking. And he said, before what we did, we didn't have no issue. He deflected. So she said, Mel was grilling me. And he gonna say, she was, but did you grill her back? And she was like, no. And I was saying, like, Mel, who was grilling you? Unless they did not show it to us on my TV. But Kimmy was grilling you more than Mel. Mel was sitting back cool, calm, collected. She had her shades on in the club with her little bodysuit, looking like uh, an action character. Melody wasn't checking for you. She kind of said here and there, but I think Kimmy was grilling you, boo. So he was like, "Oh, you need to follow up with the same questions. You need to ask them what they ask you." So then Martell asked her, is Ken a side dude? And it's like, why is Martell so activated? He is over. You could tell Martell has been raised by a single mama. You could tell. He is just holding conversation like he a girl. I'm not calling Martell gay. I'm just saying that he been around a lots of women growing up, not enough men growing up, and he kind of takes characteristics. He over here having a whole chop up with this girl Trisha. Now this seemed like it would be something between Trisha and Tisha. Two women talking. They just talk. They are just honey catching up about talking about everything and everybody. So Martell asked her, so is Ken a side dude? Duh, did you expect her to say yes? So she said no, and she's like, oh, I just hate explaining it. And Martell's like, oh, you don't have to. Oh, it's self-explanatory. You still married and you have Ken on the side. And she's like, no, we separated. And so he said, oh yeah, that's what Mel said when they were separated. So Martell says, Nell, she was the first side chick. So I guess maybe Ken can be the first side dude. And I was like, oh, Nell is going to get Martell at the reunion for talking about this side chick stuff. He just told Chris 2 or 3 episodes ago he was going to leave it alone. Okay, yeah, okay. He's still claiming Nell to be the side piece. It's been 30 years. The ladies said they are celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary in July. I think she said July 27th. Let it go, Martell. But he's bitter. Martell is bitter. And so he was gonna say, "Oh yeah, that's what Melody said. Like when they were separated, like we separated when she was doing her thing. Yeah, we didn't talk about no divorce. So in Martell's mind, the separation wasn't real because it wasn't headed towards divorce. And being that you were just separated, you should not have been dating anyone else." Talking about, yeah, she had a side dude or whatever. And it's like, you lying because Martell, your ego is so huge. You would have ran to go get a divorce had you heard that Melody had a side dude. You would have ran down to them courts and filed for real. Be quiet. She said with her and her ex, there's nothing going on. There's nothing between them. And Child Martell gonna say, except for that paperwork. That was good, Martell. That was good. So they discussed the paperwork. Martell said, well, you still married. She said, it's just a doc. She kept going, but it's paperwork. What does the paperwork mean? What is the paper? He kept saying, you're married. He was throwing that up in her face. And she was like, but what does the paper? You're married. You're still together. You're still legally. So she was like, it's just a document. And it's like, what does that mean? Document, license, a marriage license, ma'am, is not a document. A document is just proof of some evidence of something. It's official, like a license, but it's just a support of something. It's just an evidence of something. A license, ma'am, is a little more intense than a document, but not in her case. Okay, but who gonna tell her? Let me look up the definition of a license, because hold on, y'all. It's going to driver's license. Hold on. Let me. Oh God, I'm wasting time. Hold on. Anyway, I just kind of want to. I should have done this. A license is like a permit from an authority figure to own or use something. It's to carry, to trade, it's to have, it's to hold, to death do us part. Very different than a document. Crazy. I'm sorry, Tisha. So Martell says men can be and are side dudes now. It's a thing. Because they swear Ken is a side piece. And so Martell says you are either the main or you are the side. And he would know. So Martell asked, well, how long y'all been together? And she said 2 years. He said, oh dang, like you need to go sign them documents. I like how he played into her wordplay. I like that. That was good, Martell. He was like, you need to go and sign them documents. Now, I'm not sure, is Martell acting like one of the girls, or is this his way of finessing her? Because this could go either way. Men can kind of do what women like just to get to them, and that could be a thing. Maybe he's trying to fish to see where her head is with all this. So she says, getting the divorce. She said that's the plan in the future. Child, what is Ken gonna say if he make it to the reunion? Cause that just sounds like she's lying. She don't want no divorce. I even saw something. I don't know what I was looking at, but I saw pictures of her husband and their kids. And he's handsome. He's handsome. Y'all, I don't know where I saw it at, but he's light skinned. I think he got, pretty colored eyes. He's handsome. And there's plenty of pictures with him and their kids. So he seems very close with their children. But we do know that he lives in Atlanta. And just for me, just kind of like, I see what the chokehold is about. You still like your husband. Y'all didn't put some time in. He handsome. You still like him. And I think you might be waiting on him to get his act together so y'all could be back together. She don't want no divorce. She lying. Ken, please run. And so Martell asked her, is he a good dude? And she like, yeah, he saved me. I was raging on the inside. And so Martell says, I could tell. I was like, that's probably when she let them weights fall and gave him that look. That was probably right where she did that at. So in the confessional, she says that it was a good workout with him, but this is the last workout with Martell. She says she learned more than she should have. And so Trisha says, so when I see you at Stormy's, you're not going to act like you don't know me, right? And it's like, who are you right now? You act so meek and shy and everything. Why are you coming for Martell? Because I don't get, at first I thought maybe they, did something, but I don't get that anymore. It seems like she was crushing on Martell and he didn't give her the time of day. That's what is given to me. So Martell says, well, I know you now. And she like, you know me now. This is where it happens. So he backs up a little bit from her for fear that she gonna beat him up, because that's when she let that weight slam and she turned her head around and looked like it was about to spin like the exorcist. And he said, you look a little different, and it's been some time. That's where it happened. Okay, I thought I was wondering, like, where did she kind of get at him at? Okay, yeah, I don't know what y'all think. Do y'all think they did something? I don't know. It's kind of confusing because she's not saying that they did. and but she won't let Martell act like he don't remember her at the same time. It's kind of weird. What is it? What is this vibe between Trish and Martell giving you guys, besties? Let me know. Okay, so let's wrap it up. I'm going over. Last scene, great scene. Let's get into it. Okay, so Mel meets Marceau at the coffee shop. And so she asked about the Black Espo. You know, we say like Tisha Espo. And since she couldn't make it, so she couldn't be a speaker there. And so she was allegedly she was booked and busy, baby. And so she tells him about when she met up with Tish and how, you know, they're not going to hold stuff in. They're going to be real transparent with each other, blah, blah, blah. And so they have a conversation. They had a conversation and it brought up where they are now. It brought up the whole thing about the statement that Marceau made. And, you know, Tisha was like, eh. Melody was like, well, I'm going to talk to Marceau myself. And Tisha was like, that's a good idea, whatever. So she wanted to know, why did he feel the need to make a statement? So he's explaining that he got linked into it because they're so close in proximity. And, you know, being on the show, I told y'all this is a small town. So it's just, you know, they get whoever they can get. Marceau might be more accessible because he's always at Black. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't find Martell, but you know where to find Marceau. And so no, so she says, so denying that was you is one thing, but she don't see how. And then she was kind of saying she don't see how they mistake Marceau for Martell. But her thing was, you didn't have to say nothing. And so she said, you know, when you was having all those lawsuits coming at you, they was asking about me, and I had my lip zipped. And she put her, you know, how you put your fingers up to your lip like you zipping it. And she was like, I didn't say nothing. And so he was like, well, you know, one of my friends asked, you know, he's one of the anchors. He asked me. And so she was like, you know, the same thing with me. My friends was asking me about what happened to you, and I didn't say nothing. And so now we find out, oh, one of the news anchors is your friend, Marceau. Oh, okay, okay. And so she was still like, you still shouldn't have said nothing. And so this is Melody trying to get Marceau to be her friend over Martell. Say what you want to say. That's what my TV told my eyes. That's what my ears are hearing. It's giving very much bullying you to be on my side, not his. So she was like, see, yeah, my partner reached out to me. And so she was like, let me see the text messages. So he's showing her the text messages. And so Marceau's responses are, you know, like he don't really know what happened, but he gonna say, but for real though, free Martell. So Melody was like, oh, wow, wow, wow. So she looks at Marceau and say, what the F beep is wrong with you? What the beep is wrong with you? Melody getting a little aggressive, honey. She getting a little hype. The battery pack is on. And she seemed like she wants people to pick who they gonna be friends with. And so and that's not cool. Because, like I said, if I'm both of y'all friends, I just gotta learn how to be both of y'all friends as y'all are broken up. And but you should be able to still be both of people's friends. The divorce is between y'all. Okay. I'm not a part of your divorce decree. It don't say that behind the shade can no longer be I'm gonna give you the friendship to you. I don't want it. No. I should be able to be both of y'all friends. So, and that's why I kind of say they kind of act the same. That Martell and Melody, they kind of act a little the same. And so, you know, that's all I'm saying. We just got to get to know the new you as single. You got new boundaries. We respect it. We keep it moving. my opinion, Martell and Melody are both emotionally immature because they got together so young and they got these kids. And it's just like, after 12, 13 years of friendships, no, I don't have to I might cut ties with both of y'all. How about that? But it's very giving. You're going to be my friend, right? You're going to be my friend, right? My opinion, tell me yours. What do you rate the episode, besties? Let me know that in the comments. And I will see you on the next video. Please like, subscribe. It helps the community that we're building together. See you in the next video, besties. Bye-bye.